So, good morning, students. Again, we have discussed in life processes regarding the nutrition and photosynthesis. Today, we will discuss regarding the respiration. What is the respiration? Respiration is the breakdown of the organic food material into its simplest form, that is carbon dioxide and water, and releasing the oxygen. This is known as the respiration. As we are seeing, this is the breakdown process of the organic material. That's why it is a catabolic process. Okay. Catabolic means breakdown. If anabolic means to synthesize or to for the formation. Photosynthesis is the anabolic process because it forms the new organic material, that is glucose. Respiration is catabolic process because it breaks the glucose into the carbon dioxide and water. For the breakdown of the glucose molecules or organic substances, it needs oxidation. That's why it is a oxidative process. Oxidative process. Okay. So basically, this is the catabolic process and the oxidative process. What happens in the respiration? This is glucose molecule C6 H12 O6 plus 6O2. It makes CO2 plus H2O plus ATP. This is the chemical reaction of respiration. This is glucose molecule taken as the food into the living body. This is oxygen inhaled with the help of air. And now, in the presence of this oxygen, this glucose molecules break down and release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and water. It also releases energy in the form of ATP, which is usable for the different life processes. Basically, we are seeing that this is the chemical bond energy. Chemical bond energy, and it releases the energy usable for living cell. This glucose molecule is the chemical bond energy, and this ATP is energy usable for living cells. As we know that in photosynthesis, the radiant energy convert into the chemical energy. And in the respiration, the chemical bond energy convert into the energy for the usable for the living thing, and that is the ATP. So we should know something more regarding the ATP molecules. ATP is termed as adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. This adenosine is the nitrogenous base, and this adenosine nitrogenous base carries three phosphate group. That's why it is known as the triphosphate. If it has two phosphate group, then it is known as the adenosine diphosphate, that is ADP. If it has a single group, then it is known as the adenosine monophosphate, that is AMP. So, if it has three phosphate group, then it is known as the adenosine triphosphate, adenosine diphosphate, adenosine monophosphate. We may see the structure of ATP. It is looking like this. Suppose this is the adenosine nitrogenous base phosphate, next phosphate group, next phosphate. We are seeing here as this is a simple chemical bond, but these two are high energy chemical bonds. When this will break, this is ATP, when this will break, only two phosphate will be there. It is known as the ADP molecule, and this inorganic phosphate will release, and they release a huge amount of the energy, which is utilized by the different types of the chemical process or metabolism. As the simple conversion can be seen as ATP, then ADP plus inorganic phosphate plus energy, right? In respiration. But in photosynthesis, it is just vice versa. How? Just like this. ADP, inorganic phosphate, it take the energy from sunlight, which is trapped in the form of energy plus, and this is finally converted into the ATP molecule. So in photosynthesis, it is just like this: ATP plus inorganic phosphate, ADP plus inorganic phosphate carries the energy and make ATP molecule, right? And they will perform the different processes further. When you get the more energy, respiration will occur. This just vice versa. So simultaneously, this process runs, and we will get the energy. Even then, we are a multicellular organism, but the unicellular organism, even then, bacteria also, they all are using the same process. That's why ATP is known as the universal energy carrier. ATP is known as the universal energy carrier. The next thing, what is the significance of respiration? So as we know that this liberated energy need for the different life processes. Okay. The next thing, it releases some energy in the form of heat, which is needed to maintain the body temperature. Heat, it increase the body temperature or maintain the body temperature. It releases the carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide necessary for the photosynthesis. And the last one, in the respiration, intermediate substances are formed which are necessary for the other metabolic processes. So there are the importance of the respiration, energy release for the different life processes, some energy converted into the heat form which maintains the body temperature, release the carbon dioxide which is needed for the plants for the photosynthesis, and intermediate substances are formed which are necessary for different other metabolic processes. Then steps of respiration. Steps of steps of respiration. Basically, there are two types of the respiration. It may be external. The first step is external, and the next step is internal. The external step is also known as the breathing. Breathing. Suppose if we are inhaling the air, so this is the breathing. It carries the nasal passages, trachea, then lungs. This route or the air from the nostrils to the lungs, that much of process is the external process and which is termed as the breathing. Okay. Then again from the lungs, this air or oxygen is carried by the blood to different tissues and cell. So in internal process, the cellular respiration. So, the steps of respiration, there are two steps. Number one, inhale the air, that is the breathing. It is external step. The internal step, that is the cellular respiration. This air or oxygen bent to the cell and the breakdown of the glucose molecules occurs and the respiration starts. So, this is the now type of the respiration. This cellular respiration are of two types. Types of respiration. It may be anaerobic, maybe aerobic. Anaerobic respiration, it do not need oxygen, but aerobic respiration need oxygen. Again, the aerobic respiration, first step is glycolysis. The next step is Krebs cycle, and the third step is electron transport system. So this completes the respiration. Further, we will discuss details this respiration. I have also discussed it in the previous lecture. Once again, I will define it. Suppose this is the living cell. Okay? Nucleus. This is mitochondria. Mitochondria. And this is cytoplasm. So, glucose comes in the cytoplasm. This is glucose molecule. As I have already told it, that glucose follows approximately 11 steps and it makes the pyruvate. Right? Again, there are chiefrate of pyruvate. Anaerobically, it makes the ethanol plus 2 ATP. For example, yeast. Okay. Next, in the absence of or in the lack of oxygen in human muscles, it makes lactic acid and approximately 2 ATP. And the third most important fat, it makes the acetyl coenzyme A. This acetyl coenzyme A further enter into the matrix of mitochondria. In the matrix of mitochondria, and in the matrix of mitochondria, here occurs the Krebs cycle. Means further breakdown of the acetyl coenzyme A occurs in the matrix of mitochondria, and that process is known as the Krebs cycles. And then the next product, that is the NADHS plus, these molecules are formed and they will break in the inner mitochondrial membranes. Here it occurs the electron transport system, which releases approximately 34 ATP. Approximately 34 ATP. Up to glucose to pyruvate. Here it makes pyruvate plus 2 ATP. Right? So 34 ATP plus 2 ATP, approximately 36 ATP we will get from a single molecule of glucose. Once again, I would like to rewind it. Glucose into the cytoplasm. All the process occurring in the cytoplasm, it is anaerobic. So glucose, approximately 11 steps it follows, and then it makes the pyruvate. In the absence of oxygen, it converts into the lactic acid and 2 ATP forms. In microbes such as yeast, it makes the ethanol and it 2 ATP forms. It's very lesser energy, and this pyruvate, formation of the pyruvate makes 2 ATP. After that, this pyruvate convert into the acetyl coenzyme A. This acetyl coenzyme A enter into the matrix of mitochondria, where the Krebs cycle occurs. The product of Krebs cycle is the NADH plus molecules, which further breaks in electron transport system, and electron transport system is 34 ATP. Here, electron transport system use the oxygen molecule. As we have noticed in the respiration reaction, glucose molecule plus 6O2 makes CO2 plus H2O molecules. So this oxygen is used in the electron transport system, and in Krebs cycle it releases the CO2, and during this reaction it releases the water molecules. So overall this is the reaction: glucose plus oxygen makes CO2 plus H2O and 34 ATP by the help of electron transport system in Krebs cycle, and 2 ATP pyruvate, total 36 ATP. This is overall about the aerobic respiration. In next class, I will tell the respiration in plants and animals. Thank you. Have a nice day. कितने मिनट का है?